like, I always think about what should I do in reference to those economic things. I gave you those 5 at the end. But it hit me. I think if George Washington was here, he would ask a different question. And that is, what do we need to do to save the republic? And they risked their lives doing that so that you and I would have a better life. And maybe in the providence of God, there are things that we should be doing right now. And I think as we talk about some of these things, even tonight with the election and some of the issues that are coming up before us, I just think that is such a important concept.
I have a quick question for you based on everything that you shared.
Yeah.
And I know then we're going to be kind of going to some other issues too, but 2030, 5 years from now.
I know.
Huge change you're talking about, not in 15 or 20 or 30, 5 years. That's a blink away. You think is that Revelation 13 5 years away? I mean, we're setting the stage for the Antichrist system. How far do you think we'll be in 2030? Most people will still be, if we haven't been taken home, we're going to be here in 2030.
Yeah. Jan, unless the rapture takes place or something like the hand of God
yes.
and a revival takes place, and Christians, for example, there's 40 million Christians that haven't been voting. 15 million haven't even registered to vote.
That's right.
There's ways we could push back, and God may extend us grace. If you read through the Old Testament, Judah had sinned against God. God had sent the prophets. He had warned them. You need to repent. You need to repent. And then he says, I'm going to be gracious to you. I'm going to give you Josiah, for example, a king. And he gave him a reprieve for 40 years. And so, what's going to happen in Revelation 13 is going to happen.
Yeah.
No one's going to stop that. But maybe God would grant to us grace. Jesus is still building his church. Why hasn't Jesus come? Because he's patient, not willing that any should perish. So, Jan, I think the simple answer is this. You and I, as followers of Jesus, we all need to live godly. Number 2, we need to make the gospel known. Number 3, we need to assume the responsibilities that we have and influence righteousness in our own government here that influences the whole world. And maybe God will extend grace a little longer until the rapture takes place. And I think that's the best answer. And like Kendall Qualls, we just showed up there. That's what he's working towards. I think that's what we all need to be working towards.
Well, you made an ominous statement. The good old days will be now.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah. I remember an old timer one time said that to me. He says, you know what? The good old days are right now. In 20 years, Mark, you'll be saying, oh, those were the good old days. I thought he was a nut. and then I realized, I say that to my grandsons. 20 years ago, you should have been here. This was so exciting. Or 30 years ago. Okay, I even say 40 sometimes. 40 years ago, you should have been here. Yeah.